When Tarsier Studios announced they were walking away from the Little Nightmares franchise, the gaming world, including me, were stunned. We were stun locked. They created one of the best atmospheric childhood dread 2D indie games with light Little Nightmares. They redefined what horror games can be and what children protagonists can portray in storytelling and world building. Because they announced that they were moving away from what they have created, people were worried that the Little Nightmares IP was gonna end up in the wrong hands. But that's a story for a different day. We wonder what could possibly compel them to leave behind their most successful creation. What were they building in the dark? What was the developer's next move? And if they had any new moves? We eventually learned that they were making something, and the answer was a different game that was more terrifying than the halls of the mall, and it made the mall look like a playground, child's play type shit. Reanimal isn't just a spiritual successor to Little Nightmares, it's Tarsier Studios unrestrained. It's way darker, it's dirtier, it's unsettling, more so than Little Nightmares. It's more visceral and plunges deeper into psychological and body horror. By introducing true shared screen co-op and a world built from fractured, traumatized memories, Tarsier proved they didn't need the Little Nightmares name to haunt our dreams. While their previous work focused on giganticism and the corruption of adulthood, Reanimal shifts the thematic focus to something much primal: nature, mutation, and fractured innocence. You play as a brother and sister, orphans thrust into a literal hellscape that resembles a twisted, nightmarish version of their island home. Their goal? To rescue their missing friends. Like the previous games, Tarsier focuses their gameplay and atmosphere on children. You play as children, and you see the world as this dark and giant, unknowing place. It makes the game feel uneasy. It makes it feel unsettling and honestly intimidating at times. I think they really captured the essence of what it feels like to be a kid in like a brand new world, whether it's scary or not. Everything feels so enormous. Everything feels scary. You don't know what is good, what is bad. So making the playable character, the protagonist's children, really puts the player, it puts us into the role of everything is just much scarier. Like if you compare the Little Nightmares kids to, or in this case, Reanimal, because we're talking about Reanimal. If you compare them to fucking Leon, yeah, it's still scary. You know, Resident Evil is a horror game, but because you're an adult, you have weapons, you can fight. It doesn't feel as intimidating. It doesn't feel like, it feels like you have some control of the situation. While Reanimal, you don't. You're kind of just trying to survive. Yes, Leon's surviving, but bro has a gun. The structure of the world immediately sets it apart from Little Nightmares. Instead of a linear sprint through a single massive facility, Reanimal gives you a boat. The water acts as a kind of like a hub, creating an overwhelming sense of isolation, steering your tiny, vulnerable craft through the thick fog. Not knowing what Leviathan might be swimming beneath you creates a pervasive, suffocating, and dread feeling. The environments you dock at, abandoned shores, rotting boardwalks, and blood-soaked industrial pens, are meticulously crafted to feel entirely hostile. The both segments of the game were something completely unexpected to me, based on, how Tarsier developed Little Nightmares 1 and 2. I think the boat segment really helped the world feel large and interconnected with itself, not just one giant hallway like Little Nightmares was. In terms of mechanics and gameplay, the boat was not hard to control in single player. Because I played the game on my own. I didn't play the co-op because my brother didn't want to play with me, but whatever, fuck him. So in single player, you control both the steering and the light source, and the throwing of the spears. And then in co-op mode, one person will control the steering, and the other person will control the light slash spears. Now, one of my only complaints about the boat segments is that it was kind of dark, that part of the game. Maybe it was just dark for me because at the start of almost every game, the settings tell you to adjust until the image is barely visible or whatever. So I kind of made mine a bit too dark, which in essence it did make the game scarier and more atmospheric, but it did make it hard to see. So I eventually did up the brightness to like middle, or like 50%, so it's kind of visible, so it doesn't look as dark, but I can just see what I'm fucking doing. And that made the boat segments like 100 times better, in my opinion. Other than that, the boat segments was actually really cool. It was really, honestly, I think it's scarier than the actual game itself of just running around, the world. Because I always found water levels, especially in horror games, to be extra scary because you can't see what's under you. Like, I don't have that fear of the ocean, thalassophobia, or however the fuck you pronounce it. Like, I don't have that. But not knowing what's under me when in a horror game, that's when it scares me, because in a horror game, anything can just fucking come at you, So to me, the boat segments were a bit scarier. It wouldn't be as scary. Like, it was scary, but it wasn't too scary because we did have a weapon. We did have the spears to kill some of the swimmers in the... I don't know the names of the monsters, but yeah, you could have killed them, so it wasn't too bad. And something about the game design when it comes to the boat parts, like, the game doesn't tell you where to go. You kind of just naturally steer the ship, or not the ship, the little boat, to where you need to be heading. And I don't know if that's because the way the design is so clever, or you just instantly, like, just naturally go where you think you want to go. Because the game does not tell you. There are some buoys that kind of guide you where you need to go. Like, the buoys have this little red flashing light, but there's no like objective marker type shit. So I don't think I ever got lost. It's just like the game just naturally guided me to where I needed to go. Tarsiers' signature art style returns, but it's been dragged through the mud. Everything feels tactile, grimy, and painfully real. The animation retains that eerie stop-motion quality, making the characters look like fragile clay figures trying to survive in the world made of rust, bone, and rotting meat. It is visually exhausting in the best way possible. You can almost smell the damp and decay through your screen. Now, one of my favorite things about Tarsier, whether that be Little Nightmares or Reanimal, is their art. I can really admire and wish I can paint and draw like they do. I'm not an artist by any means necessary, but I do draw a little bit. And their art style is just so it's so cool. I like their dark and horror art style. And it's not like your generic horror type shit. It's like, it's very unique and it feels almost real, like it can actually happen, but it's fantasy. Like, it's so fantastical, but it's almost realistic at the same time. Like, for example, Little Nightmares 2, the fucking teacher, her long ass neck. Obviously, that's not real life. It's fantasy. They somehow make it feel real. I didn't 100% the game. It's hard for me to 100% games because I try my best, but it's something that it's not something that I have to do when I play a game. I try to do most of it, but it's hard for me. But because I didn't 100% the game, I didn't get to unlock all the gallery photos that they have hidden in the game. And the few that I did find, like, I want to recreate them, like when I doodle and stuff. Like, it's very cool. Like I said before, the most significant mechanical evolution in Reanimal is the integration of true, fully realized co-op. While Little Nightmares 2 gave us an AI companion in 6, Reanimal was built from the ground up to be played by two players, either locally or online, sharing the exact same screen. This shared directed camera is a stroke of genius. In most co-op games, split screen offers a safety net. Here you are bound together. The camera frames the horror like a cinematic director, ensuring both players witness the same terrifying vistas and the same looming threats. It creates an incredible sense of shared panic. If your co-op partner messes up a stealth section or messes up a jump, you feel the immediate terrifying consequences. The game forces communication, not through voice chat, but through desperate in-game actions. From what I've seen, and, you know, obviously what I just told you, and again, because I didn't play in co-op, it seems like the way the co-op works is kind of like the old school, well, not the old school, but the Lego games. If you play any of the Lego games, you'd know that when you play a co-op, it's like the game, like in Lego games, not in Reanimal, the games would be one screen, but then when you get kind of further away, it'll like morph into a split screen. Now that was fucking cool. If you know, you know. Reanimal doesn't do that. It doesn't do the morphing thing. It keeps you all together. It does restrict you a little bit because eventually the game would like kind of prevent you from going too further into the game, because there's no split screen, so you can't really do much. You can't see what the fuck is going on. So it would have been really cool if they implemented that morphing split screen like the old Lego games did. And for those braving the nightmare alone, like me, Tarsier heavily refined their AI. Your sibling isn't a burden. They proactively help you with puzzles and mirror your stealth state, maintaining the illusion of a shared journey without the frustration of a broken escort mission. But whether with a friend or the AI, the central theme remains. You're a tiny. You're a weak. And your only strength is each other. Which kind of hurts a little bit if you know about the story and, you know, the ending. It kind of reminds me of BioShock Infinite a little bit. Because in that game, BioShock Infinite is a glorified... It's an escort game. It's not an escort mission. Like, just one mission. It's an escort game. When you meet Elizabeth, you know, you're trying to fucking get her to safety, get her out of Colombia, and then we all know how that ended. I mean, if you don't, then you're missing out, loser. Anyway, in that game, she would give you ammo, she will give you money, she will give you health. Booker catch, and she didn't really die. That was like the best thing. Like, she didn't die. She doesn't take any damage. She's just there. Same thing with like Little Nightmares. The AI, it doesn't fuck you up, and it actually does help you, which is good. And when you're playing this game, or else it would be completely unplayable if you were playing on your own. The AI was a dumbass. The world, the art, the atmosphere, yeah, that's what builds Little Nightmares and Reanimal. But there is one last thing rather, that helps the game be what it is, and that's the monsters. Tarsier Studios has always excelled at creature design, but with Reanimal, they completely took the training wheels off. The antagonists here aren't just grotesque creatures of adults. They are horrific, agonizing amalgamations of animals and human trauma. The enemy designs lean heavily into intense body horror. These creatures look like they are in constant pain, their bodies stitched together, stretched, and mutated into impossible shapes. The giant spider-like sheep or the hulking, squealing swine creatures aren't just scary to look at. They are terrifying to listen to. The sound design team deserves every award for that wet, squelching, bone-cracking audio that accompanies every movement these beasts make. Encounters are less about combat, entirely about survival. The stealth is unforgiving. These creatures are fast, relentless, and their animations are disturbingly erratic. A chase sequence in Reanimal isn't just a platforming challenge, it's a heart-pounding, sweaty-palmed, desperate scramble for your life. When they catch you, the game doesn't shy away from the brutality of your failure. It is dark, it is mean, and it is incredibly effective. If we're talking for real, The monsters in Reanimal are kind of more fucked than Little Nightmares 1 and 2. I feel like in Little Nightmares 1 and 2, they were fucked. But they were like, it's not that bad. Just a fat dude and a long neck lady, you know? But in this game, they're... I don't know what fucked up shit is in your mind, art director, art designer, character designer. But damn, dude, are you okay? As well as the sound people, the sound guys, like the sounds the game has, the sounds the enemies and everything has. It's like, you know, like it's so real, it's so gross, it's so, I don't even know how else to describe it. It's fucking crazy, dude. Actually crazy. Beyond the visceral horror, Reanimal weaves a deeply psychological narrative. Unlike many horror games that rely on lore drops or text logs, Tarsier tells its story purely through the environment. The island is physical manifestation of the orphan's fractured pasts. Every ruined carnival ride, every blood-stained room tells a story of innocence violently interrupted. The overreaching goal, rescuing your friends, gives the game a profound emotional anchor. You aren't just surviving for the sake of it, you are trying to pull your loved ones out of the abyss. The game plays with themes of guilt, childhood trauma, and the terrifying realization of how kids process a world that has completely abandoned them. It is a story told in the negative space, in the quiet moments between the screams, making the horror resonate long after you've put the controller down. The story is where, I guess, the psychological part hits the most, the emotional aspect of the game, because although I don't really know exactly what the fuck is happening, the group of 5 kids, the brother, the sister, the playable characters, plus their 3 friends, they sacrificed the sister, the playable character, the girl. And the beginning of the game, you're beginning from the end. Like, you're starting from the aftermath of the sacrifice. It's very weird. It's very weird. As far as I know, they did it to appease like a god or some kind of entity to bring them peace or get rid of the war that's happening. Because the game takes place during a war. But I'm not entirely sure what the ending actually tells, because there are 2 endings. There's the default ending and there's a secret ending. I still haven't figured out or done much research, because this isn't a story video, right? This is a I'm just gonna talk about the game. But yeah, the story is, honestly, I would argue it's more fucked up than Little Nightmares 1 and 2. Like, in Little Nightmares 2, spoilers, big spoilers coming up for Little Nightmares 2. 6 betrays Mono, and Mono becomes the Thin Man. And that was fucked up. And I imagine your brother and your friends sacrificing you by killing you and dumping you in a fucking whale. Well, not whale, well. So yeah, that's as far as I can tell what the fuck is going on. It's kind of hard to tell if they're actually dead at the end or if they're like in this purgatory, this, you know, just reliving the same shit over and over again. I really want to know more. But again, this is not a story video, so I'm not gonna go over the story, but that's basically the gist of it. You're like rescuing your friends from themselves and from the world and from all this shit, but at the same time, you're rescuing the people that betrayed you in the past. But did the past happen already, or is it in the future? It's really fucking weird. It's very good. It's not like I'm 14, this is deep type shit. It's a very good, and it's very, again, most people aren't gonna get it. You're gonna have to watch videos and do research on your own to figure out what the fuck is actually happening. And I think one of the big examples of psychological, you know, events, parts of the game, is when you enter the battlefield area, the war area of the map of the game, where you see soldiers literally killing themselves. And that's obviously like the toll that war puts on the person's mental and PTSD type shit. That's one of the most memorable things that I can remember from the game, is soldiers killing themselves right in front of you. Now this next question if Tarsier Studios made the right choice to abandon Little Nightmares, some would say yes, because Reanimal is an evolution of what Little Nightmares was. It's the next step in in storytelling and atmospheric in that genre of game. If Little Nightmares was like an 8 or a 9 on the horror, atmosphere, gameplay, etc. scale, Reanimal takes it up to like 20, 30, right? Like, I'm not dogging Little Nightmares. God, no. Little Nightmares are fantastic indie horror games that everyone should play. But Reanimal builds on what Tarsier did with Little Nightmares and improved it. And, again, it's an evolution of Little Nightmares. Other people would argue that they shouldn't have dumped Little Nightmares and just made Little Nightmares 3, Reanimal. Like, Reanimal should have been Little Nightmares 3. But, I don't know. They left it. And a lot of people are saying that it was a bad choice because if you know anything about Little Nightmares 3, it was given to a different developer who are known more for those story games where you pick and choose the scenario and there's like a different ending depending on your choices. I forget the name. Supermassive Games. There you go. Supermassive Games. They're the ones that developed Little Nightmares 3, and everyone was obviously excited. Everyone was excited, but at the same time, they were like worried because, yes, it's a horror game studio, but they're not Tarsier. And the game came out, and on Steam, it's at mixed reviews. I personally haven't played it. I do want to play it. I'll eventually play it, but those mixed reviews aren't, they're not convincing me to like buy it right now. And then even horror YouTubers and people that make videos on Little Nightmares were like, yeah, Little Nightmares 3 is not that good of a game. One of the consensus that I see is that Little Nightmares 3 doesn't know what it is. It's too messy. It tried to do what Little Nightmares 1 and 2 did, but it couldn't. It tries to be, it doesn't want to be its own thing. It failed at replicating what Little Nightmares 1 and 2 were. So at the end of the day, it's really up to you whether Tarsier made the right call in ditching Little Nightmares. I personally think it's really hard to say, honestly. I honestly don't know, because I do like Little Nightmares, but I love Reanimal. It sucks that they ditched Little Nightmares. I think they made a bad call, if I'm being honest. I think they made the bad call in ditching it. But without them ditching it, we wouldn't have Reanimal. It's one of those things like, damn if they left it, damn if they didn't, So we can only just talk about the games and compare them for what they are, and just hope that Bandai, because they own the IP, they can I don't know, give it to another developer, or Supermassive can learn from their mistakes and improve upon it if they continue to make Little Nightmares 4. Because I don't even know if this one sold well or not, because it came out a little bit before or around the same time as Reanimal. I think it came out before. It came out way before Little Nightmares Reanimal, so it wasn't really competing with Reanimal, but everyone was more excited for Reanimal because it's the actual OG studio that pioneered this sort of genre of horror game. So TLDR, going back to the initial question before I fucking spiraled, did they make the right call to leave Little Nightmares? If I want to give you a solid answer, even though I did say they fucked up, if I'm gonna give you an actual answer right now, I don't think they did. I think they made the right call to, as much as it hurts, they made the right call to leave Little Nightmares behind and make another thing. Who knows? Like I said, maybe Bandai will fucking either end the franchise with Little Nightmares 3, like no more Little Nightmares, or the developers learn from their mistakes and improve upon themselves. But only the future will tell. Reanimal is not a game you play to relax. It is a grueling, beautiful, horrifying journey that tests your nerves and your friendship. It's a masterpiece of horror art, and the chilling reminder that sometimes the monsters aren't hiding under your bed. They're waiting on the island. So yeah, that was it. What was your most terrifying moment in Reanimal? Let me know in the comments. Let me know what you think about the game. Do you think it's better than Little Nightmares? Do you think it's not as good as Little Nightmares? Do you think Tarsier fucked up and leaving Little Nightmares behind, or if they didn't fuck up and they made something completely better? Let me know. So yeah, subscribe, like, comment, again, share. Don't know if I'll make a Little Nightmares video soon since I made this one, but I'll eventually make one. No promises though. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. Bye.